How did these stories develop? This is an amazing story of an ex-wife who wanted to get revenge on her husband by poisoning all the wild animals in his house, and she was almost killed by a wolf. In fact, after a long period of domestication, wolves will gradually lose their fear of humans during this period. However, wolf attacks are still possible. If you decide to have a woodland game with a powerful predator, you may be involved in wrestling between a small man and a wolf. Albert wanted to live in the village where he was born after divorcing his wife. The young man liked the simple life, but his parents disagreed, so he gave up and he came to this quiet village alone. Starting his new life in his grandmother's house, Albert came to the village from the city every weekend to visit his grandmother. Before she died, he had a good relationship with all the people there and loved them. This made him decide to move in amongst them after a failed marriage. Albert was very fond of nature, and he never missed his ex-wife because he didn't want to marry her, but at his father's insistence, he did marry her. She was a friend of his father. Albert met her by chance when his father invited her to dinner with her father. This young woman was called Lenora, and he suddenly found himself to be her future husband. Many problems arose between them as time passed because Lenora always was pursuing a special and luxurious life. So their relationship ended in divorce and he left the city. The young man suffered greatly from the divorce, and he started to enjoy his new home in beautiful nature as a result. Although he refused to renew any type of formal relationship with any woman at that time, his conviction changed when he met this beautiful young lady who worked as a nurse at the village clinic and was respected by all the villagers. His heart would beat so fast when he saw her. He couldn't hide his feelings for her. Albert would see this girl, named Natasha, every day, and he would take her on a tour of the forest together so that they could fish and gather mushrooms in the river, ultimately resulting in them falling in love with each other and seriously consider getting married. One day, they wandered around and took some photos. He noticed a wolf pup wandering in the forest at that time. It was having trouble walking. It seemed that the pup had gotten separated from its siblings. It couldn't find its mother, so it was just walking alone, seeking help. They sent the little wolf, called Ali, to Albert's home, where they brought him food and put him to sleep. They considered returning the wolf to the forest, but they noticed that he was still young and was still homeless, so they decided to raise it for a while until it could take care of itself. The wolf got big and started guarding the house. It did everything the young man and his beautiful fiancée Natasha asked it to do. He loved them so much, he couldn't live without them. Now, after Albert's ex-wife found that he wanted to marry Natasha, she decided to move to that village to stop the marriage because she wanted to take revenge on her ex-husband, whom she thought had insulted her. So Lenora came to the middle of the village and rented a house. She watched every move of Albert and his fiancée every day. The ex-wife tried to approach Albert again and asked him to leave his new fiancée, but the young man refused and told her to leave him. This wolf didn't like Albert's ex-wife. It always gnashed its teeth as if to attack her, but then he was quick to calm down. One day, the villagers found that some animals had died after eating poisonous food. It turns out Lenora was the murderer behind it because she had tried to poison the wolf, but she was unsuccessful. Albert was aware that his ex-wife was responsible for these animals' deaths, but he had no evidence. A few days later, Lenora went to meet Natasha, whom she had not known before. And when the wolf noticed that Natasha was welcoming her guest and inviting her in for tea, the keen animal was very displeased and followed them into the house. Lenora told Natasha that she was a friend of Albert's, and she brought out some of her food to share with her. Meanwhile, the wolf came in, dropped the food off the table, started chasing Lenora, and then ran from the house. When Albert returned, Natasha told him what had happened, and he immediately sent the food to the lab, where they discovered it had been poisoned. He immediately realized that his ex-wife wanted to kill Natasha. He told the police, and they arrested her immediately. Albert was thankful that his fiancée had escaped death because of his loyal wolf. Luckily, they were all okay. There are tens of thousands of stray dogs in Russia, and some stray dogs will attack humans, but after many years, such things with us never happened, he said. There are also wolves that attack in remote mountainous areas, but they're usually on sheep or other animals, rarely people. According to animal activists, there are actually an estimated 1 million stray dogs in Russia, but wolves are common in the forested areas. A foreign ministry spokesman said that they were in contact with Russian police and provided counselor assistance to Miss Hollingworth's family. Wolves are particularly aggressive in winter and often attack villagers in the mountains of Russia. A few years ago, the authorities in the region confiscated the villagers' shotguns, prohibiting the hunting of wolves. I've been there a few times myself, and they've been playing like lone dogs. Another wolf expert who spoke to the media after the tragic accident said that this was unusual for something like this to happen. Still, it has happened before with animals in the park not afraid of humans, but accidents do happen, police said. A wolf expert at the Russian University of Agricultural Sciences told the news agency that he had not examined the case, but that accidents do tend to happen when norms are broken, and that it's always dangerous when wolves enter such places alone. This danger is not forgotten with the tameness of wolves, even though no wolf has been innocently killed in recent years. The serious thing about wolves is that people love them a lot, but people also have to beware of them. This video does raise an important question about keeping natural wild animals in confinement. Thankfully, neither the wolves nor the women involved were injured, unless you have to talk about wolf self-agency. In fact, wolf attacks on humans are rare, and people should not have unnecessary fear. People should always keep a safe distance from them, though, as a sign of respect for them and a guarantee of our safety, a spokesperson said in a release. When encountering wolves or other wild animals, we must remain calm. These animals have never attacked anyone, and they've lived with some people when they were just cute and harmless pets. But the people who take it lightly may end up paying a terrible price. So the best thing we can do is respect them, appreciate their beauty from a distance, and treat them as wild animals.